You ever watch a show or a music video or a movie and think, what lens were they using? I've started doing that lately, and I actually think it's been pretty helpful for me to really visualize and understand how to get different shots that I want to get when I'm on site shooting. When you're filming, it's easy to kind of get lost in the sauce of how many different things are going on at once. Oftentimes when my production company films with a client, we will capture footage across a variety of angles and for a variety of purposes to be able to be used in content moving forward for years. So that means that we have to have lots of variety and a strong understanding of what we want to capture and what lenses are the right lenses to do just that. One more bit of context. We travel a lot for work, so we have to keep our gear tight. We don't often bring more than 4 lenses to a shoot at any given time. So the main lenses that we use on every project are the 24 to 105 f4 Sony lens. It is a great all-purpose lens. I've had it for years now, very reliable. Oftentimes people debate between the 24 to 70 f2.8 and the 24 to 105 f4. I'll tell you, I've had the f4 105 for a while, and there are benefits to being able to zoom the extra distance from 70 to 105, and there are downsides to having f4 versus f2.8. The f4 does make it trickier with low light, and you know, sometimes we run into a situation where we want a wider shot and we can't get it with the low light, so we end up switching to the 35mm f1.4, which is probably one of my favorite lenses, but I'll get to that in a minute. The one strong benefit for the 24 to 105 is it's significantly cheaper. So whenever we're in a situation where we do need a little bit more access to low light lenses, we'll often use 2 lenses, the 35mm and the 70 to 200 lens. Starting with the 70 to 200, this was actually my dream lens early on in my career. I'd seen so many incredible shots, especially for portraits and weddings and sports. When we're on site filming, we often have 2 people filming at any given time. So one of them will be using a wider lens and the other one is using the tighter lens. So often it's me running around with the 24 to 105, then my colleague Chris running around with the 70 to 200. That gives us a really strong variety of being able to get all the possible angles that we would want to capture of any given situation. This lens really is great, but if you're the only one filming, sometimes you get in a situation where something's happening. Maybe you're filming an event and somebody comes on to give a speech and you happen to be right next to them and you can't get the shot because you're way too close. That definitely happens, and it is what it is. The 35mm, which I'm using to film currently, but I'll just use this Nikon Nifty 50 lens as an example. The 35mm is a prime lens. I thought it was going to be tough when I first got it years ago, and I wasn't sure if I was going to like using a prime. Switching from being like I'm shooting everything a videographer to I can be a little bit more selective about the shots that I'm trying to get running a production company. I didn't realize how much I would love it. This lens is great for medium focal length shots and slightly wider shots. It's not completely wide. I don't find it very helpful for like real estate stuff and showcasing a room, but it is a great lens for people. It's a very flattering lens. It's almost always our primary A-cam for interviews, and I love it. It's also incredible for low light. Recently we were on site filming at like 3 in the morning, and we had these big lights of the facility that we were working on, and the low light of the 35mm was perfect. I mean, I had no issue getting all of the variety of shots that I needed. If I was gonna replace the 35 with something, it would be the 16 to 35, because I've been finding that I really want to be able to get a little bit wider than the 35 offers at times, but the 16 to 35 f2.8 is a really strong lens. The only thing is, comes back to pricing. The 35mm is significantly less expensive than the 16 to 35, and so if you're kind of deciding between the two, I would suggest getting the 35. I love it. So those are the 3 main lenses that we bring to every single shoot and we use consistently. Now, when we want to start getting a little bit more creative and we have a specific idea of like a POV shot, you know, maybe attach the camera to our broomstick and like brush something or anything like that, that's when we go for the Rokinon 12mm lens. This goes down to f2, which is pretty strong for low light, and it just creates this really unique effect and is really cool. It has to be used like that though. It wouldn't be something that you just throw on the camera and walk around and film an event. You have to kind of see the plot of like using it in a way to get really close to an object, or put it into a POV situation. You know, put it inside of a fridge or a locker, and then have somebody open the locker and get some stuff out of it, and then shut the locker. You know, like you gotta kind of think about it like that, because otherwise it looks kind of weird and it kind of creates like a fisheye look that wouldn't be flattering for just like a normal shot of somebody just doing something. So that's what I would suggest, is like, if you got some fun idea in mind, or you want to get a really unique perspective, use the 12mm. And if you film 4K on a full frame sensor, you can easily crop it in to avoid any of the vignetting around the edges. And then the last lens, I don't really use this often, but it's the 50mm. It's actually a Russian lens that I got off of Etsy for $75. You had to buy an adapter that would connect to my Sony cameras, which was probably like 75, so it came out to like 150 bucks. It creates some like really unique lens flares, but it's kind of hard to use. If you want to adjust the focal length, you have to, you know, turn this thing because it's manual focus. But when you rotate it, it sometimes will unscrew the adapter, and it's kind of tedious. So it doesn't work in like a run and gun situation, but if you have a very specific idea in mind and can use the 50mm to get some cool lens flares, it's definitely a good option. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions or would want to see what cameras we use and how we go about filming all of our projects, let me know any questions that you might have.